Hello, I'm Pratham, and today in this video, we all are going to learn about cell, what is cell theory, and what is cell history. So let's begin with what is cell. So firstly, to understand what is cell theory and what is the cell history, we need to understand about the cell, of which we are going to learn about in this video. So firstly, what is cell? So the cell is the smallest living unit of which all the organisms are made. Or if I say in a simple language, then it is that all the living organisms are made up of cell. It's the smallest unit of the body of the living organisms, all the living organisms. And we can also say them as the building blocks, because as we all know that the a building is made up of bricks. So the bricks is the smallest unit, are the smallest unit of which any building is made. So our body is like also a building, and then the smallest unit is the cell. So the cell may be the cell can be considered as the building blocks because they are the smallest unit, and the cells are very small. They cannot be seen with a naked eye. So we need an instrument known as microscope to look them. And now let's learn about the cell history. So in cell history, we are going to learn about all the important discoveries which were which were there in the past. So the first discovery was done by Robert Hooke, and he discovered the cell. So whatever we know about the cell is only due to the Robert Hooke. If he had not discovered the cell, then we might not know that much about the cell. So in 1665, he took his self-designed microscope. He designed it by himself, and then he kept the cork of the tree. So what is cork of the tree? The branch, which the branch of the tree. It's obtained from the bark, branch of the tree, bark of the tree. So the cork is the bark of the tree, and he took it and he kept it under his microscope, and then he looked under the microscope, and he saw some rectangular compartments, some polygonal compartment, and which he named as cells. Now let's learn about the second discovery, which was done by Anton von Leeuwenhoek. He discovered free living cells in a drop of pond water, and then under an improved microscope. So he took his microscope, which was improved one, and then he kept pond water, a drop of pond water, under that microscope. And when then he saw that there are some living organisms which were there in the drop of pond water, and they might be the living organisms like amoeba, paramecium, which are living in the water. And then the third discovery was done by Robert Brown. He discovered nucleus. So nucleus we are going to learn about in my upcoming videos. I'll be posting the videos related to the structure of the cell, what are the different components of the cell, and I'll be explaining them in detail. And the fourth discovery and the last discovery was done by Purkinje. He also was a scientist, and he coined a term known as protoplasm. So protoplasm is cytoplasm plus nucleoplasm, the fluid which is present inside the cell plus the fluid which is present inside the nucleus. Now don't worry, we are going to learn about everything in my next upcoming videos. Now let's learn about the cell theory. So cell theories are all the theories which are related to the cells, and these all the theories are true about the cell. So first theory was given by Schleiden and Schwann. These were two scientists who gave the cell theory. And the second thing, that the Virchow, a scientist named Virchow, he further extended the cell theory after the Schleiden and Schwann. So the first cell theory is all the living organisms are made up of cell. So all the living organisms are made up of cell from tiniest to mightiest. So from microbes to the whale, from the smallest to the largest living organisms, they all are made up of cell. So this was the first cell theory. Now, and that was given by Schleiden and Schwann only. Now the second was cells are known as basic structural and functional unit of life. So it is there is a reason because of which they are called as structural and functional unit of life. So they are known as functional unit of life because each and every living organisms are made up of cell, and the structure, the basic structure of the body of the living organisms is the cells only. So ultimately, we all are made up of cell. So that's why it's known as structural, because it's the basic thing of which the structure of the living organism's body is made up of. And the second, the functional unit of life. So it's known as functional unit of life because each and every cell in the body of the living organism performs a specific function, some metabolic activities, some life activities, due to which the living organisms can survive. So they all do some kind of function in our body. Now, third is the all the cells come from the division of pre-existing cells. So this was given by Virchow, and he extended the cell theory by giving this third thing. And he said that in multicellular organisms. So before we come to this, we all must know about the multicellular organism. So multicellular organism are the organisms which are made up of more than one cell. So there are organisms which are known as unicellular organism, which are made up of only one cell, and the one cell only performs all the function of the body. But in multicellular organisms, different cell do different functions in the body. And we all are multicellular organisms only because we are very large, and different cells we have which perform different functions. Now let's learn about what is the uh, theory given by that Virchow. And the first thing, multicellular organisms are made up of more than one cell. So in multicellular organism, a single cell divides into two, then these two cells divides into another two cells, and this process continues till the whole body of the organism is made. And that's why all the cells comes from the division of pre-existing cell. So the first cell is there, and it divides and divides and divides until the whole organisms are made. And in our body, millions of cells are there, and all these millions of cells are uh, came from only one cell. Now this theory was given by Virchow, as I have already said. So thank you for watching the video. Please subscribe, like and share this video, and comment on the video. We'll meet in the next video. Thank you.